Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today I'm gonna show you the new batch of gardenia cuttings that I am going to try to root, and also a few snippets of my hydrangea bush in the front. As the last time I went ahead and cut the little trimmings as you see on an angle, and I'm dipping them first. I rinse them out in water and then I dip them in the rooting hormone for them to stick very well, and then I'm gonna put them in different containers that allow light and they're full of water. We have very good quality water, and I do know I got some DMs last time telling me that if I put this in dirt, it will be a lot better. And I understand that and I know that. But I love doing it in water just because I like to see how things grow and how things change and how life tries to fight. As you can see here, there is nothing really in these stems. There is a little bit of budding in there, and every time I take them out of the water, it'll be a different week, and you will be able to see how the process develops. It's just really beautiful. This was the first week, and as you can see here, I have some in shot glasses and I have some in those Coca-Cola bottles, and and this is already 1 week. As if you can see, there is a little bit of callus developing in there where roots will come out, and this particular plant had that leaf went bad, so I took it off, and you can see that something is happening. The leaves are still this body over here was someone's knack for a while, but you know, the bug is not there anymore and she's having new leaves and what have you. During this process, I've thought a lot about something that it's very painful and very strange in my life, which was my struggle with fertility. I am way past my childbearing years. I am 46 now, but I got married when I was 21, and because we didn't want to have children right away, I went to the doctor's office, and long story short, I was told that I couldn't have children, and that turned out not to be correct, but I did have a lot of issues with fertility when I was younger. Between my daughters, I lost 3 pregnancies. I think emotionally and physically, that was one of the most damaging and hurtful things that I have ever gone through. Look, you can see in there that the little roots are taking part. This is a week later. I would get pregnant fairly easily. I'd never had to take medication to become pregnant, but the pregnancies just wouldn't last. I had a miscarriage at 10 weeks one, and the other one was, I believe, at 16 weeks. And the last pregnancy that I lost, I was almost 22 weeks pregnant, and I lost that baby the day before Christmas. And that was pretty devastating. And I had thought at the time that that something was wrong with me, that I was faulty, and that I was letting my family down and my husband down. And with years, I have realized how strange that thought is, that I had put all my value and all the worth that I had on my reproductive abilities. I wanted to have children, and it was just, it's just a strange thing, because I know that there is a lot of women out there that don't want to have children, and I think if you don't, that's okay. And I think that you should never let people talk you into conform to norms or expectations, because it is your life. But for me, I wanted it that, and I just the fact that I will lose those pregnancies, it would just leave me in a physical and emotional state that I can't even describe. It was painful, it was raw, it was something that I couldn't understand because I felt like I'm doing everything I can. I physically and health wise, I would do everything people told me. I was taking my vitamins, I was drinking water, I was walking, I was just, you name it, everything I heard, I would do. And this was, 3 losses that happened in the span of 3.5 years, 4 years. And for someone who is as persistent as I am, you see, I try different things here in this channel, and then I fail and I try again, and I fail and I try again. But when we lost that last pregnancy, I promised myself I would never try that again. It was just too much. I now know that hormones play a big part on all of these, in the way that you feel emotionally, but also is emotionally taxing. And I'm sorry, these are the hydrangea cuttings. They're doing very well now. And as you can see here, some of the little leaves have become, or the little budding leaves have become bigger and stronger. And these took a little longer to root than the gardenias did. But they're just beautiful. And you can see that there's a lot of new leaves in here. And they're doing great. Now, some of these did die after I put them in the ground, because I put them in the ground a week and a half ago, and some of them, I don't think they're doing well. But some of them are looking very beautiful. And I think this is just like this, this part of nature of, you do the same thing for every one of them, and some of them just refuse to grow. And I feel like that's, oh, look at the new leaves in there. They're so beautiful. But going back to my journey, I think it was the same thing with the pregnancies. You do everything exactly the same, or you do better. You try this and you try that, and sometimes it just does not work out. And there's nothing that I was doing wrong per se. So my sister, Catherine, was one of the people that supported me the most during that journey. And of course, my husband too. But I think with my husband, he was going through his own journey and his own pain and his own understanding of what was happening. And at the time, I thought this was happening to me. I couldn't see that it was happening to us. I felt like it was happening to me. And so I leaned more on my sister than I ever did on my husband, which is a good thing too, because he wanted it, he needed it to grieve in his own way. But when I was going through these, I've met some people at the hospital that had gone through fertility issues and miscarriages and losses and having a hard time to conceive. But I thought, because you meet so many people in the hospital who are having trouble with health issues, but I had never in my personal life met someone who had lost a baby. And now I know that there are a lot of women that have problems losing a baby and having miscarriages and or God forbid, for whatever reason, having to have an abortion because the baby is very sick, or for whatever reason. And those losses are heavy on your shoulders and in your heart and in your mind. And it is something that I still think about. And this is, 18 years later, 19 years later, and I'm still think about it. And I still hurt for those losses. And so if you are like me and you come from a culture where people don't talk about miscarriages and don't talk about the difficulty of conceiving or having children, I am telling you, people go through these. This is more, I think 1 in 3 women will suffer a loss during their lifetime. And sometimes they don't even notice, because sometimes the loss happens when you are very early in the pregnancy. And if you are going through this right now, or if you have gone through this and you're still hurting, first, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. We are not all born to do all things, and maybe this is a thing that is going to be more difficult for you. And whether or not this happens for you, you're still worthy, and you're still a woman, and you're still wonderful, and that I hope that you don't let that define you. Oh, this is hard. I also went through I also had cancer, and I had to have a total hysterectomy, which means that they took my ovaries and my uterus out. And so I don't have that anymore. And that also made me feel like I had lost a little bit of my womanhood. And whether or not you were born with a uterus or a womb, or whether or not that womb works or not, or whether you have to take it out for disease or for whatever reason, I want to tell you that you are a woman. You're still worthy, you're still whole, you are still meant to do wonderful things and give your love to other people. Womanhood is not defined by your ability of having children, and womanhood is something that is inside you. And I don't want to get political, or I don't want this to become something controversial, but you know who you are. And I am telling you with all my love, and that if your womanhood is not defined by your anatomy. Your womanhood is not defined by your ability of having children. Your womanhood is not defined by having or not having a uterus. I can tell you that, and it's what I feel. And if you need to hear that, I want you to hear it from me. Repeat this message as many times as you need to, because normal society will tell you that this or that is a woman, or that if you can't have children, then this, or you can't have a happy marriage if you don't have an X number of children, or this or that. And marriage and companionship and partnership and womanhood are what you make out of them. You are beautiful, you are complete, you are a creature that, if you believe in God, that was sent by God in here, or if you believe in a higher power, or even if you just believe in biology, this is who you are. Seize your moment, seize your time, and help yourself grow. Like I'm trying to help these little girls in here grow. And like I said, some of them are doing fantastic, some of them are not that happy, and that's okay too. These little failures are here to remind me that not everything is perfect, and sometimes even if we try our best, things don't work out the way that we want to, but you can find your own happiness. It's easy for some of you might think that it's easy for me to say because I have two daughters, but I am here to tell you that I want you to remember that you are beautiful, you are worthy, and you are deserving of love and happiness. Always. You are beautiful. You are worthy, and you are deserving of love and happiness. And if you need to tell yourself that every day in the mirror to feel better and to feel whole, do it. No video today because there were a lot of tears, and so I didn't want people to see me like that, and I tried a couple of times, but I'm here. Leave me a comment if you need to. Bye.